Hey guys, welcome back to another episode, which I am lucky to have a person from a different country. We don't have this very often. Last person we had was Miss Sandra Lee,
I know her. Yeah.
and now I got a co-host that appears here and there. He's from Canada,
Yeah.
and so guys, I'm your host Trevor Shelley, and today on my podcast I have
Sugar Shane Pinto, the hottest pro wrestling manager in the game today, the front man of professional wrestling, if you will, located in Montreal, Quebec, Canada.
So speaking of Quebec,
Yeah.
you said Quebec, right?
Yes, indeed.
So Quebec is actually one of my favorite NHL teams of all time.
Okay.
The Norquisadors.
The Nordiques, right?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
So with all that, like I have friends that play up in Montreal, Toronto. I have friends from Ontario. I got friends that are second generation NHL players.
Interesting. Cool.
Yes. Which the one from plays in Toronto is Steven Lawrence.
Again, I'll be completely transparent. In terms of the native sport, I'm not the biggest follower of hockey, all things considered. I mean, obviously, I'm going to support my Habs through and through in the event that they're winning, you know. But to know anyone in a major league sport is quite the privilege, eh? Suffice to say,
Yes.
for sure.
Have you heard of this brand called Carrick Bros?
I have not.
So my friend family owns its their last name, Carrick. But it's like a maple company up in
Okay.
Ontario, which I hate that like it costs so much compared to up there for it to be shipped down here. Which I'm like, the dude lives down here. Maybe I should just hit him up and like bring me case back. I'll pay you.
Hey, if you have an in, why not?
Right. As long as the border control lets us bring it over.
Again, who am I to say? If it comes to good quality product, you should definitely be able to get it, right?
Right. So, Trevor Carrick, if you're watching this or any of the Carricks, hit me up because like we gotta talk some business. I want to make a business deal where you guys are sponsors.
Yeah, hit them up,
Um,
guys. Come on. Rising tide.
right. So Shane, what sparked your interest in the professional wrestling industry?
So I've been a professional wrestling fan ever since I was born. So the story goes, again, I wouldn't be able to remember it, suffice to say, but I was born August 28th, 1998, what happened to be a Thursday. Um, my father brought me home that Monday, and we were watching Monday Night Raw together. According to him, that was the story. My earliest memory, just in general, was Kane taking off his mask. So it's fair to say that wrestling's been in my life in some sort of capacity, whether it be from the early stages of my life up until now. And I luckily found a way for it to be an even greater part of my life, being in the role that I'm currently in, which is the hottest pro wrestling manager in the game today.
Yeah, I was just reading a notification from the event that I'm going to for sponsors and everything
Okay.
for WrestleCade, which is one of the biggest, hottest things in the
Yes,
Carolinas right after Thanksgiving.
absolutely.
They just announced that Lita's going to be there.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to meet Lita at, well, we call it Comic-Con here in Montreal.
Okay.
And I believe that year, if I'm not mistaken, Ric Flair was there too. And Ric Flair I'm a big Ric Flair fan, especially considering North Carolina, right?
Yes.
Um, but Lita was there and she was an absolute delight. And what a pleasant experience that was. So I don't know if you've had the opportunity to meet her before, but if you haven't, you're up for a really excellent experience.
So speaking of Ric Flair, so I say this on every episode. My dad grew up around Ric Flair. He dated one of the producer's daughters for WCW.
Wow.
So every time Flair they had a show in Charlotte and Flair was there, right?
Absolutely.
Ric Flair would walk into the bar and he would say a round for everybody. But you had like the blonde hair Sting, Four Horsemen,
Yeah.
Big Show before he was Big Show.
Right.
And I'm like, all I can tell my dad every time I see him, I'm like, so why don't you ever be like finding Ric Flair and like, hey, you owe me some drinks from the years because I was a kid. I was like, I would hold that against.
Yeah, knowing Flair too, I feel like his sense. Again, I don't know him personally, obviously, but I'm based off the stories that I've heard. Uh, Approaching him in that regard, as it pertains to any sort of party environment where you're saying, "Hey, let's indulge," given our history, is going to tend to create some memories in that regard. So I would definitely do the same if I was in his shoes.
Yeah, and it's more funny to me. My dad met Arn Anderson as a kid, right? And his son Brock wrestles a lot in the Carolinas.
Yep.
So every time I see Brock, I'm like, it's so convenient how my dad and your dad knew each other, and now me and you know each other just through this business,
And the
not on
best,
purpose.
yeah, the best part about this business, at least to me, is the connections that you do make, the fun that you have with people, whether it be someone who's been on WWE before, AEW before, or someone who's just getting their start in the business. It's fun and the fact that we're sharing that camaraderie together and building, off that, doing something that we love is amazing.
Exactly. But who were your wrestling idols growing up?
Growing up, I would say
I
I
know
would
you said
divide
like
it in
Ric Flair.
sections. So Ric Flair for sure. Ric Flair has always been a huge influence in my life as it pertains to um, what I try to convey as a performer. Um, I would say Bray Wyatt as well, and Wyndham Rotunda, the man behind Bray Wyatt, had a huge, profound influence on my life on a personal level and a professional level.
Yeah,
Um, Suffice to say, and you know what? I'm going to throw him in here, but Triple H as well. So Triple H, I was a huge Triple H fan as a kid. Like I said, I was born in '98, but like I grew up in the ruthless aggression era, and the quote unquote reign of terror was going on. And despite that, I'm like, this guy looks like a superstar, and I love this, and I love this presentation. I love evolution. Like this was like, to me, Triple H was my guy, right?
yeah.
And then later on, I found Bray Wyatt, and then yeah, so I would say Flair, Bray, and Triple H.
All right. If you could go to a seminar session with any living or past wrestler, who would you go to?
So I've had the great privilege as of late to go to a Gabe Sapolsky seminar, and Gabe Sapolsky, of course, renowned for starting Ring of Honor and
Yeah,
Evolve, and he's doing such great things with WWE ID, and so sitting under that learning tree has been quite the experience. I've done two so far, one in Montreal and one where I traveled to Toronto. So, of course, in Ontario. And both times I had such a great experience. So I would definitely welcome another opportunity to do that again. Um, and then I guess on a flip side, because again, if I may, and I'll just go on a little bit here, but Gabe Sapolsky, he touches another point of the business that I really want to get into, which is the backstage component, right? Building talent. So
yeah,
with that in mind, that in a perfect world, Sugar Shane would be doing that one day too. So to sit under that learning tree was definitely a great opportunity to expand on that knowledge. Now, per my role, I would say I would like to do some sort of promo seminar or promo workshop. And again, when you think about promos, you think about the greats, but for me, Dusty would be the
that's cool.
person that I would love to sit underneath that learning tree. And again, it's unfortunate that I wouldn't be able to, given the circumstances. But what a mind that he has, and what an ability to mold talents. The people that are in the spots that are main eventing WrestleMania, suffice to say, sat underneath that learning tree. So I would definitely welcome that opportunity if I had the chance to.
Yeah. So, like for me, Scott Demore, just because I want to one
Yeah,
day start my own promotion. Which, guys, if you've been living under a rock, you used to be the owner of TNA,
yeah,
and now owns a promotion up in Canada. That's the Maple Pro Wrestling, right?
Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling, yeah, which is he took it used to be a promotion back in the day, and now he's changed it, and it is without question the premier in the country, just based off the star power alone, just off the presentation alone. And yeah, Scott D'Amore is amazing. I've had an opportunity to meet him at TNA Bound for Glory, and he was very gracious and very kind.
Um, let's see. If you could wrestle any legendary wrestler from the past, who would you pick and why? Living or
Any
dead?
legendary wrestler from the past? Um, I would say Scott Hall. In
Okay.
any sort of iteration of Scott Hall, whether that be Razor Ramon or a Scott Hall, big Scott Hall, hell, his mind for the business and making it real is something that I really appreciated, especially listening to some of his old interviews and how he approached the business. So with that in mind, especially with the landscape of how the business is operated today, to get that dichotomy of that old school
Yeah.
vibe mixed with the new school sensibilities would definitely be a welcome opportunity.
Right. I know for like if I had to, I would probably choose either probably Tommaso Ciampa just because we had a promotion down here that Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano used to be on.
Okay.
So, and I didn't even know this because I wasn't even a fan of them as a kid. So, the moment that Johnny came to TNA, not TNA, NXT is the moment I
Right.
was like, I'll jump on this shit. Why not?
Yeah. Johnny Gargano was terrific. One of my favorite matches was him against Andrade at NXT Takeover Philadelphia. What a match, you know what I mean? That kind of brought me into the quote unquote new school sensibilities. So, and I love Ciampa. Ciampa's run in NXT was terrific, and they're continuing to do great things on the main roster together. So, for sure, that's a great choice, man.
Yeah. And then, like, for me, I got to see both of them wrestle when they came to Charlotte for SmackDown last year.
Okay,
So it was a plus. But I will say, if anybody told me I had to get in the ring with Grayson Waller, one of us is not leaving. I just don't like Grayson.
okay.
His
So,
cocky side is just got to
so he
go.
so he makes you feel something,
Right,
which is good, right?
right.
If we break it down, right, like last thing I want is for anyone to get hurt in a wrestling match, and I hopefully both of you guys can leave better people after that. But Grayson Waller has this intangible about him, which again makes you want to punch him in the face, right? So he's definitely doing the quote unquote his job well, if that's how he's making you feel.
But I'm probably not the only one just because. Have you seen the video that surfaced with Austin Theory trying to sign autographs pulling into the arena?
Yes, so I saw that on I believe Instagram or maybe TikTok where Austin Theory was trying to sign some pictures for some kids, and then Grayson's like, "Come on in," and then he did it anyway,
Yeah,
right? Well, that's the business, right? You know what I mean?
yeah.
They're playing characters, they're playing roles, and um, I'm sure the people that were there to witness that live are leaving with a very good memory,
Exactly.
right?
Um, if you could have a wrestling mentor, who would you choose?
If I could have a wrestling mentor, who would I choose? Given my role, Paul Heyman.
Oh,
Um, Paul Heyman, what he is still doing to this day is he's able to manipulate the word manager and turn it into something that's benefited both him, people backstage, people that he's with and associated with on camera. His eye for the business, his understanding, his knowledge is something that if I can have a percentage, a fraction of that, then I'd win at life. So I'd say Paul Heyman.
I know for me, like if my mentor I would probably say Paul or Punk, just because Punk is really different compared to everybody else.
Fair to say, yeah, absolutely.
or Bray?
Hey, I was trying to diversify my answers here with your questions, but look, Bray Wyatt, Wyndham Rotunda had a profound influence on my life in so many ways, in which I'm very grateful. I'm happy to even be here having this conversation with you today, Trevor. And that's due in large part to Bray Wyatt and his influence he had on my life.
Yeah, I remember when he passed. I was just moved to New York, and my friend texted me. He's like, the moment I got settled in, and he's like, Bray Wyatt passed, and like I was like, for a whole week, I didn't text nobody, didn't call anybody, just. And they're like, so Bray meant a lot. And I was like, his character work. That's what sold me as a fan.
What wrestling does for all of us is we attach ourselves to the character to the point where it's almost as if we've known them for years, or it's
Right.
almost as if we're friends with this person. And whenever there's a loss, it's like a piece of us is kind of lost too. And that was the sentiment that I felt with Bray. Um, like I said, the impact that he had on my life alone, being the person I was to the person I am now, is greatly due to the fact that I listened to his words. You know what I mean? I listened to his you know his promos. I listened to the way, or I viewed him as a creative. I viewed him as an artist. You know what I mean? And being what I am, an artist in professional wrestling, whether that's in the role that I play, in front of the camera, behind the camera, there was a certain honesty that there is a certain honesty that you have to convey. And Bray, or rather Wyndham, just felt unapologetically him
Yeah,
while being a character.
exactly.
So Um, the wrestling world lost someone, a tremendous mind, and I've made it my life's work to honor his name and legacy with everything that I do.
Yeah. Like for me, I will say you remember when he had his promo against John Cena talking about John Cena's a bad man, and
Yep.
I was like, the moment I heard that, and then Cena turned heel, and I was like, he called that from a long time ago, and I was like everybody said, it's a long time booking.
Hey,
Or
was it necessarily the plan back then? I don't know, right? But what doing that does is it gives the opportunity for us as fans to be like, oh, hey, this meant this. It must have been designed to mean this. But if you leave it up to interpretation, which is what art is all about, you can manipulate it any which way, which enhances the overall experience that we have as a viewer, as a consumer of the wrestling product long term. So
right,
if he left little nuggets like that for the Cena turn, he probably left it for the Daniel Bryan turn, or he maybe even left it for who knows, Braun Strowman. We again, everyone that he touched in that sort of capacity um, has the benefit of leveraging his creativity long term.
right. What was it like managing your first match?
Ooh, my first ever match. So, a little bit of backstory for the people who are not from Montreal. So, my first ever performance as a manager, I was working with Jacques Rougeau, who famously was the Mountie in WWF.
Okay,
Jacques Rougeau held how do I say this? A competition style event in which fans voted for wrestlers to move on to the next round based off their performance, based off their charisma, not necessarily based off the win and the loss. It wasn't a tournament style in that regard, more so a competition. And it just so happened that the first ever event I was on, I was in the main event um, in one of the most iconic venues in the city, the Corona Theater. Now I say iconic, and it's special for me because I'm, as a musician, I saw so many bands there growing up. So for me to have that full circle moment in that same venue with a family and friends watching my first performance in the main event, whether you decide to put stock in that point or not, it was a great experience. I learned a lot from that experience, and what it did more than anything, Trevor, is it fueled my passion and desire for more. Because you
Yeah.
start there, and you can only go up from there, in my opinion, based off those experiences.
Right.
No show's too big or small. That's the perspective that it gave me. So I was very blessed in that regard to have that opportunity, and yeah, just so happened to align perfectly, in my opinion, with a lot of the things that I hold true in terms of how I measure success.
Yeah. I do like for me, like I have great great friends that are we've been talking about like if I became a manager, they were like, we could see you as our manager, and I was like, okay. I was like, that'd be kind of far drives because one lives in Florida, one lives in New Jersey.
Right.
But I was like, you know what? I'll take it. It's something.
Hey, what's great about the business, like I mentioned earlier, it's the friends, it's the camaraderie, right? So
Yeah.
if it works out for you to go and make these long drives, and the benefit of it and the success that comes from it is the happiness you feel, the fact that you're sharing this experience with friends. What's a drive, right? If it means that much to you and you feel a sense of pride after doing it, then there's no road that's too long for you to take to make that happen.
Right. All right. So we're gonna start this segment called Trev Shock. I don't know if you've heard of it before on the podcast.
I have not. I'm open to anything. Surprise
All right.
me.
So Trev Shock is where you got 50 seconds to answer 6 questions.
Okay.
The current record is 37 seconds remaining, held by Claire Carter.
Okay.
All right. So usually I have my handy dandy tablet, but it keeps turning on and off. So I am just gonna make up some questions.
Sure. Let's do it.
All right. You ready to start?
I'm ready when you are.
Okay. Cool. Um, favorite pre-show snack.
Chips.
Favorite go-to song.
Killer Queen by Queen.
Favorite wrestler of all time.
Bray Wyatt.
Right. Favorite type of music.
Rock and roll.
Rock and roll. Okay. Favorite wrestling theme song. Or
My Time, Triple H.
okay. Um, trying to favorite color.
Yellow.
Favorite manager.
Paul Heyman.
Okay. So you did not beat the record, but you beat the timer.
Hey, I don't know what I win, but it sounds like I won something, Trevor.
You won nothing so far, but
Hey, that's fine. In my head, I feel like a winner.
right, you beat the timer.
That's what matters. I beat
Yeah,
something.
so you beat it with 13 seconds remaining.
Hey, that's not too bad. That's not too shabby.
Right. All right. I know me and you were talking before we started recording. You're a music artist.
I am.
All right. So what kind of music do you make?
Falls in line with my favorite style. I sing in a rock and roll band.
Yep.
We're called the Flair, spelled Flair, by the way, because obviously. Um, and yeah, we're a rock band from Montreal. The style is akin to. I always say we're like if Guns N' Roses and Alice in Chains had a baby. That would
Okay.
be the Flair. So yeah,
I know, like for me, because I make my music, so I'm gonna go ahead and promote that song we were talking about before recording.
please.
All right, guys. This is called "Lonely Storm." All one word. No space, no nothing. Just because it's different.
Why not?
And if you guys ever want to listen to the music, look up the Technofox. The C is changed to a X. Because there's an artist called Technofox with the C.
It's a name at the end of the day, right? Just change it up
Yeah.
and it's yours.
Right. So, let's turn this volume up. So, guys, this is what that music cover looks like. As you can tell, it's a person lonely in a store. Pretty spot on
Simple.
for the cover.
Pretty spot on.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. The Shane Pinto of many, many years ago would be shaking ass to that song. I love it now for sure. I'm just saying, like, that guy would have loved that. This guy now loves it too, but in a different way. There's a different appreciation. Very good. Sounds great. The mix is what I like.
Yeah.
That's a good quality mix right there.
Well, the one thing I love the most is like when they send me beats because like I have over 300 songs that I can make into beats.
There you go.
So they'll send me ones and like I'll listen to them before because they send me like little demos of it and see if what I can do. And the one thing I love doing, especially this one I just recorded, was there was two buttons I loved hitting just because how it sounded.
Yeah.
So for all that, it was pretty good. So everybody, guys are seeing a different side of Trevor Shelley normally because we have our tablet usually with all my questions that I can go to, and now you got me thinking on the fly.
Hey, those are the best conversations in my opinion, where we're just having a conversation.
Exactly. I remember there was one episode I did and couldn't, like, we had maybe four other people on the podcast, like four people in total, and it was an owners of a company starting up, and I was like, why not, I'll turn this tablet off and we're just going to read it. So we spent like 3 hours just talking.
Hey, like I said, the best conversation or the best podcasts, interview shows, whatever title you want to give it, are just simple conversations.
Right. And guys, if you guys ever keep seeing me drink a energy drink in the video, it is always this peach Laney drink.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not necessarily the biggest energy drink connoisseur or sommelier, but I know there's some interesting flavors and brands. So shout out to them if that is your beverage of choice, especially for this episode.
I mean, if they're always
Oh, you got them on tap.
well, see, my shoot job ordered them by mistake,
Okay,
and
so that you know.
I was like, okay. So the night shift lead took half of it. I took the other half. And I was like, why not? They can't say anything. Like, they told us we had to get it out of our cooler, so
You know what I mean?
we
Get out of the cooler into your belly. You know what I mean? There's no
exactly.
better place to put it. I agree.
But what other sports do you enjoy other than wrestling
Love
or
football. Big
football?
football guy. Yeah, go Birds. That was quite the Super Bowl. Definitely very happy about that. Big football guy. Like I mentioned, I'm not the biggest hockey guy, especially given where I'm from. I know that might be shocking to some people. Football, wrestling. I dabble in some UFC and MMA from time to time, depending on who's on the card. And that's pretty much it, if I'm being honest with you.
I know for me, I was a big Conor McGregor fan when he started up, and then he stopped fighting, and I was like, okay, cool, I'm not going to watch UFC anymore. And then he lost, and I was like, yeah, I will stick to my wrestling and hockey. Here and there,
Yep.
basketball. Huge baseball fan, as you guys can tell. There's binders, boxes of cards all behind me
Oh, no,
because
very cool.
someone sold me a mystery box with over 500 cards for $50.
Hey, sounds like a deal to me.
Right. We'll see. For me, I pulled a Jackie Robinson card out of there, and it
Okay.
wasn't print. Like, like the cut wasn't even done, and I was like, "Cool beans! I got the whole set, 9 cut." Bet.
You're speaking a different language to me in that regard, but if that means more money for you, then respect, my friend. Anything to get more money, as Sugar
Right.
Shane would say. Hopelessly devoted to the bag.
Hopefully, because $50 worth all those cards, I'll take it.
Absolutely, man. For sure.
It's like finding a bunch of other gear and everything, or someone collects trading cards, or however it is.
Yeah, every fandom, every collectible has their quote unquote holy grail.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm not too privy to the trading card world. I know it's huge now.
Yes.
Um, so with that in mind, I hope it secures you some big bucks, my friend.
Like, for me, my in North Carolina, there's every weekend there's a card festival, trading card convention, and
Okay.
I'm like, wonder why everybody can't have money. Example: trading cards,
Hey,
wrestling
some
gear.
people have their thing. Yeah, people have their thing, man, for sure.
Like for me, um, I was a huge I'm a huge Brooke Havoc fan, so the moment she put her AEW debut gear up for sale, and I was like, 250 ain't bad. I'll buy it. Why not?
There you go. Hey, if that's what rocks your socks, then yeah, bro. Like, yeah.
So now it's just framed up in my closet because I'm like, I don't want it to get ruined. It's not.
Yeah, makes
I don't
sense.
want to feel sorry for something getting ruined that bad.
Hey, especially if you're spending your hard-earned money on it, you want to
Right.
make sure that's preserved. You want to make sure that something that you hold value towards is maintained to a standard that you can appreciate. So for sure, I totally get that.
I remember my buddy, he was texting me. He's like, someone's selling a Britt Baker gear. I know, a huge fan, and I looked it up, and the person was selling it for like $2,000, and I'm like, yeah, let me just like pull $2,000 right out of my butt right there.
Hey, look, man, the $2,000 is a vacation for some people. It's flights, it's tickets to go to, I don't know, somewhere. You know what I mean? Depending on where you want to go. So if that is of value to you, then by all means, I would see other things to do with $2,000 personally. Um, but yeah, I think you made a wise decision.
Right. Which doesn't also help because like I'm glad I didn't buy the gear because I'm pretty soon moving into my own house for the first time.
Congratulations, yes.
Thanks. Which, guys, it's not fun living in a 50 plus neighborhood, even though I am 24 years old, just because I
Hey,
have certain family members older that are on the name of the house. So I said I want something small, but that's not going to be slam packed busy in a neighborhood. And they said they're building one right outside of our neighborhood. You work in town, you go to church right outside your neighborhood. So,
if it works, man.
right.
Absolutely.
Um, is there any questions for me before we end this little podcast episode?
Not necessarily questions, but more of a, I'll give you just my thanks for the opportunity and the time to have a great conversation, a great sit
Yeah,
down. What I gained from this experience was, in my opinion, more knowledge on you.
yeah,
Um, the listeners and watchers of this podcast will have the opportunity to get more experience and insight on me, which I'm definitely grateful for.
yeah,
And I made a pal in Charlotte, North Carolina. You know what I mean? So next time I'm in that area, let's go get some lunch, pal.
exactly.
Absolutely. So okay, maybe that leads me to a question, if I
Yeah.
may. If I'm coming to Charlotte, North Carolina, what do I need to check out as a tourist, if you will?
There's like a lot. Um, I know.
Give me one restaurant. As a foodie, I need to go to what's the one spot that I need to go eat for lunch with you?
All right, so there's this burger place I love going to. Can never think of the place, but I know where it is by heart.
That works.
Yeah. So they have this burger called the Cowboy Burger.
Okay.
So it's a burger, but with barbecue and cheese and the burger, and they have these sweet potato fries and this sweet sauce that you put your sweet potato fries with.
Okay. You're
And
speaking my language. That's why I'm happy, by the way. FYI.
like so for me, I'm a huge sweet potato fan. We currently in my house have 3 bags of sweet potatoes
Damn.
because a sweet potatoes are good. You can make
They're
sweet
good
potato
for you.
fries, but I don't know what the sweet sauce is because if I knew what was in it, I would probably never go back to that place just because I just love that place for the fries and
Okay.
the sauce. But
Hey, and I'll
there's
flip it back to you. Whenever you come to Montreal and you want to come hang out with Sugar Shane and his pals, we're gonna take you to La Belle Province. We're gonna get you a couple. I'll explain it to you. It has pretty much everything. It's like a treasure trove of all the best food in Montreal, and we're gonna get you a couple of smite, basically hot dogs, but we call them stimés here. Um, and then we're gonna get it all dressed. So you have a little onion, little cabbage, little mustard relish on there. And then on the side, again, Montreal's known for its poutine, right? So you gotta get
yeah,
a good old poutine. You ever had a poutine before?
nope,
Oh fuck. Okay. So imagine you got your fries, right? Now you could put the sweet potato fries if you're really feeling frisky, but then you get these fries, right?
yeah,
And you put little cheese curds on top, right? On appelle ça du fromage. Then you put the gravy on top, la sauce. You put la sauce on top, all of it together. You mix that with the smé. You get yourself maybe a Sprite. I think you guys have Sprite.
yeah.
You guys get little Sprite. You get a coated Sprite. You get your cat smé. You get your poutine. You eat this all together. A big happy time. It's going to be good. So next time you come into Montreal, my friend, we're taking to La Belle Province.
I've never been to Canada, but it's on the list.
Hey, look, Canada's great, man, and you know, I'm being completely honest with you. Montreal has the best food in the fucking world. Excuse my language. Except I did have a really good Italian meal in Philly, but
Yeah.
maybe I'm a little biased because I love Philly. However, Montreal has diversity in their food. You can have a theme like nobody else, or you can have the top-notch fucking steak and probably in the world. You know what I mean? You go to a five-star restaurant over here. So if you're a foodie like I am, and you're getting hungry just by talking about it, Montreal is definitely the place to be, my friend.
See, for me, I know I'm gonna get so much hate on this because everybody knows how bad this pizza
Uh
place
oh.
is. Domino's.
Oh my God, no, Trevor.
So I was at because all I see on my ads because I watch TV on YouTube
Okay,
TV.
sure.
The Domino's loaded stuffed crust.
Hey, look, I love me a good stuffed crust. I don't know if I'm the biggest Domino's fan. The Domino's in Canada is not necessarily the best. Perhaps in the States it's a little bit different, but I'm definitely willing to give it a try.
See, my Domino's and I are currently scrapping words because
Okay,
this is the second time they forgot the marinara sauce.
hold on.
See if I can.
You can't listen, Trevor. You can't not have loaded crust and no marinara sauce, in my opinion.
Right,
It's like having your cement not all dress. You know what I mean? Like I know I'm speaking a different like whatever, but it's the equivalent in my opinion.
right. And so Besides, like, it was good, minus for some reason they did not put the sauce on.
Yeah, no, I'm feeling for you in this moment.
So I texted a friend that works for there, and I was like, "You guys know I go to you guys like once a month if I'm really craving the the um the cheesy dip the cheesy dip thing that they got.
Sure.
It's like 5 different cheeses all in it
Right.
with garlic nuts. So
With garnips? Sorry, what'd you say?
with some garlic nuts. So that's
Garlic nuts?
nuts.
I've never heard of garlic knots. What are garlic knots?
So there are you've had breadsticks before, right?
Absolutely.
Just like that.
But with garlic?
Yeah.
Hey, so okay, that's funny because we don't
Butter.
call them garlic. We don't call them garlic nuts here. We call them breadsticks with garlic. So you guys are more clever with your names there. Suffice
Yeah.
to say, yeah. But hey, garlic. I'm Italian, right? I'm half Italian, but I'm Italian, and we love our garlic. So at least you got that in your 5 cheeses.
Like for me, I'm Italian too, which if you go to Italy, there's actually a wine of my actual last name.
What's your last name?
So guys, do not stalk me on Facebook, but it is Di Stefano.
Di Stefano. Hey, that's a common last name, buddy. I'm sure there's a couple of people with a Di Stefano, so I think you're fine.
Yeah. Just don't stalk me on Facebook. You guys, if you want to add me on Facebook, look up Trevor Shelley.
Okay, yeah, guys, don't stalk Trevor on Facebook. No one likes a stalker. There's nothing fun about being stalked.
Even though me and my best friend, we look like twins.
Even if they look like twins.
Yes. Let's see if I can find the. I actually have a photo of me and him when I was 14. And all you can hear from everybody when I show them this picture is that your dad? And I'm like laughing and I'm like, I get it, we're 10 years apart, but like that's kind of messed up.
That's crazy.
Where's this little photo at? Let's see, that's red. Yeah, that's divorced. Matt Seidel. The hard part, like when you take so many photos with people and then you got to search through.
Oh my god, especially if it's from when you're 14 years old.
Well, I have it posted on my Instagram because I made a whole account just for that reason. Just to, there we go. When I mean we look alike,
Oh shit, you do look alike, eh?
yeah,
Yeah, you definitely look alike.
exactly. And the
But
more,
once again, let's reiterate, let's not stalk people on Facebook because that is no good. You're gonna have a bad time.
exactly.
Yep.
And then it doesn't help like nowadays. And guys, don't judge me for my NHL team. I'm a Nashville Predators fan, living in the.
What's his name was on there? Subban. PK Subban, right?
Yep, but he's retired now.
I know, but like he was in Montreal, right?
Montreal, yes.
And then he was in the Predator. I knew that.
Predators, and then went to New Jersey, and then retired.
Was he in New Jersey?
Yeah.
I had no idea. Okay, well, see, that's how much I know.
So when I mean we, like nowadays, when because we both have beards now, except now,
We. Oh wow, eh? Look at that.
right? And it doesn't help. I look like his grandfather too.
You don't look. You don't look like a grandfather to me, Trevor. I'll say that.
I look like his grandfather though.
I don't know about. I mean, I don't know. Maybe.
So it always cracks me up. And then, guys, I'm gonna give this a little shout out. So I do a Bible podcast on the side of this all. It's Learning Kingdom, which we go through the Bible talking about it and everything. So that's pretty fun. We're currently on. We just started up this week, and we're already 3 episodes in.
All the best with you in that endeavor too, my friend.
Yeah. And if you guys have not tried, if you guys are looking for a good coffee brand, try the Yellowstone brand of coffee. That's really good. It's with that guy from the Yellowstone.
I love me some coffee, bro. So I'm definitely gonna check that out.
There's there's one I am always hooked on, and it's this not maple bourbon. That's a bourbon flavored,
Okay, interesting.
and you can straight up taste the bourbon flavor.
If that rocks your socks, then go for it. I like my coffee to taste like coffee, personally.
No,
So any sort of added flavor is not really my go-to.
yeah,
But if that works for you, that works for you.
it's a maple bourbon.
Maple bourbon.
Yes,
Interesting, man. Okay.
the randomest flavor, but it smells amazing and it tastes amazing. I
Love
found
it.
their coffee on Amazon, and I was like, "Oh, this can't be bad. Let me try it." First coffee I had, and I was like texting my folks, and I was like, "So can we like order some more because like I'm gonna be done with this in 2 weeks."
Hey, that's a good sign.
Right. And it doesn't help. I work at a coffee shop, and how I recommend that to people instead of our actual coffee.
Hey, sometimes you got to put people on track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the church I go to has their own coffee shop that I always tell people, if you want cheaper coffee, place to go.
Hey, you're putting it on to the people.
Yeah. All right,
Love that.
guys. I'm going to give a shout out to the sponsors real quick. TBD Wrestling, Wrestling Evolution, and Apple City Championship Wrestling, which are all located in North Carolina.
Shout out to all of them. I'm going to be seeing them very, very soon.
And then where can they find you on social media?
Yes, so let's plug my stuff if we can. You can find me on all platforms, luckily, with my name, Sugar Shane Pinto. That's SugarShanePinto. Once again, at Sugar Shane Pinto on all platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, X. And then you can follow my band at the Flair MTL on Instagram. And we got some music out on Apple Music and Spotify, anywhere you can get, your music. We're streaming everywhere. We had a single come out called If Only You Knew. The cover is my grandparents. They're from the 70s, so believe that. We found a good picture to put as an album cover there. And, that's all me.
And while I got this on my head, Patrick Brown, because I know you probably do listen to this since we are well known across the world with 11 countries listening to this podcast.
Right.
Brownie, if you ever want a rematch in this skating contest we had, let me know. I'll make that drive to Boston.
Do it.
Even though the Bruins suck.
Yes.
Boston Bruins, and I know I'm going to get hate, but Boston Celtics, you guys suck too.
You tell him, Trevor.
Even though I'm a Milwaukee fan, so.
Hey. Okay. Excuse me.
Right. I'm going to call that the episode, guys, so we will see you next time, because I'm tired since I've been up since 4 o'clock this morning.
Trevor, it's time for you to go make dodos.
Exactly. And then
Yes, sir. And it's time for Sugar Shane to go do the same thing. I'm sleepiness over here, so I gotta go make dodos and doo-doos. So I'm gonna go do that. Trevor, thank you so much for the opportunity to speak to you, my friend. It will be the first of many, I assure you.
Yes. And we will
Take care,
see
pal.
next time where we got a NASCAR Hall of Famer, Lake Speed, on the podcast.
Oh, that's cool, man. Hall of Famer. We love that.
Which he was just on Dale Jr.'s podcast. So,
have fun, my friend. Hope you enjoy it.
all right.